Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring one of the strangest stories in the history of science. A story involving one of the greatest minds who ever lived. A man whose inventions literally changed our world. A man named Nikola Tesla. But here's the question. What if Tesla discovered something far greater than wireless electricity? What if he figured out how to manipulate time itself? What if he actually succeeded in building a time machine, and the evidence is hidden somewhere in classified government files? This isn't just another conspiracy theory, this is a story grounded in Tesla's own words, his own experiments, and the mysterious disappearance of his life's work. So stay with me, because the truth might be far stranger than fiction. Nikola Tesla was obsessed with understanding time, not just theoretically but practically. He spent countless hours pondering one fundamental question. Could time be manipulated? Could the barrier between past, present, and future be broken? This wasn't idle speculation. Tesla believed that time and space were interconnected. He believed they could be altered, and most importantly, he believed that electromagnetic fields were the key to unlocking this mystery. In 1895, something extraordinary happened. According to reports, Tesla was conducting a high-voltage experiment in his laboratory on South Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. The experiment involved 3 million volts of electrical power, an unprecedented amount of energy for the time. During this experiment, something went wrong. A spark jumped 3 feet through the air and struck Tesla directly on his right shoulder. He should have been killed. By all accounts, he came close to death. But what happened next was unlike anything he had experienced before. Tesla reported having what he called an out-of-time experience. He claimed that in that moment of electrical shock, he could see the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. All simultaneously. As if time had stopped existing as he understood it. As if he had glimpsed beyond the normal flow of human perception. Tesla was visibly shaken. So shaken that he recounted the story to people around him. He told them that he had figured something out. Something crucial. Something about how to travel through time. Now, we don't have Tesla's exact words recorded, but the accounts from that day are consistent. He had discovered something about the relationship between electromagnetic fields and the space-time continuum. Something that conventional physics of that era couldn't explain. Just hours after this revelation, Tesla's entire laboratory caught fire. The fire started in the basement and raged upward, consuming decades of research, notes, and experimental equipment. Everything went up in flames, decades of work, gone in a single night. Was it coincidence, or was it something more deliberate? What Tesla discovered during that moment of electrical shock was groundbreaking, at least according to the records that survived. He realized that electromagnetic waves could interact with time in ways that conventional physics hadn't accounted for. Tesla began documenting his theories. He called his discovery Non-Hertzian waves. These were different from the electromagnetic waves that scientists like Heinrich Hertz had discovered. These were something else entirely. Something that could potentially travel faster than light. Something that could bend the rules of space and time. One of Tesla's most intriguing claims was that these waves could travel at velocities far exceeding the speed of light. In his Colorado Springs experiments, Tesla documented that signals from his transmitter could propagate through the Earth at speeds he calculated to be over 471,000 kilometers per second. For reference, light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. If Tesla was correct, and these waves could travel faster than light, then Einstein's relativity theory would need to be reconsidered. And if something could travel faster than light, then time dilation effects would come into play. Objects moving faster than light could theoretically move backward through time. Tesla's assistant at the time confirmed the existence of reports documenting Tesla's time machine research. These weren't vague speculations. They were specific documents describing experiments and theoretical frameworks for building a device that could manipulate time. The mechanism, according to Tesla's writings, involved exposing electromagnetic waves to specific frequencies and amplitudes. By subjecting an object, or theoretically even a person, to these carefully controlled electromagnetic fields, The barrier between moments in time could be disrupted. The space-time continuum could be altered. Tesla believed that by creating the right resonance frequency, by achieving the perfect harmonic oscillation, he could create what we would call today a temporal tunnel, a pathway through time that would allow travel to both the past and the future. This wasn't fantasy. This was a serious scientific hypothesis presented by a man who had already proven himself capable of seemingly impossible achievements. A man whose other inventions had already defied contemporary scientific understanding. Now, here's where the story becomes truly extraordinary. Some researchers have connected Tesla's time travel research to one of the most infamous military experiments in history, the Philadelphia experiment. According to the conspiracy narrative, during World War II, the U.S. Navy attempted to apply Tesla's principles to make a naval destroyer, the USS Eldridge, invisible to radar. The experiment took place in 1943, on August 12, 1943 specifically. The theory goes like this. Tesla's electromagnetic principles were used to generate a powerful field around the ship. But something went catastrophically wrong. The field became too powerful. The frequencies reached a resonance point that Tesla had theorized about but never actually tested on such a massive scale. The result? According to witnesses, the USS Eldridge vanished completely and allegedly reappeared hundreds of miles away in Norfolk, Virginia. Hundreds. And according to some accounts, it reappeared in the past. Crew members reported experiencing temporal displacement. This is where Tesla's time machine research intersects with military experimentation. This is where the theoretical becomes the historical. This is where a scientist's isolated theories allegedly became the foundation for a government operation that touched the very fabric of reality itself. Was the Philadelphia experiment real? The Navy has always denied it. Official records show no such experiment ever took place. But the persistence of this narrative, the consistency of eyewitness accounts, and the fact that it emerged mere months after Tesla's death raises interesting questions. And here's the curious detail. Tesla died in January 1943. The Philadelphia experiment allegedly occurred in August 1943, just months apart. Could Tesla's research have been accelerated after his death? Could the government have attempted something with his theories that Tesla himself hadn't dared to try? Tesla died on January 7, 1943. He was living in relative obscurity in a modest hotel room in Manhattan. His fortune was gone. His laboratories were closed. The world had largely forgotten about him. But the US government hadn't forgotten. On the morning after Tesla's death, his hotel room was visited. Not by his family, not by his colleagues, by government agents. The Office of Alien Property Custodian sent representatives to his room and seized all of his possessions. All of his papers, all of his notes, everything. The official reason? To prevent Tesla's work from falling into the hands of Nazi Germany. After all, it was wartime, and Tesla had worked on weapons development. This was presented as a reasonable precaution. But here's where the story becomes complicated. After the war ended, these papers should have been returned or made public. They weren't. Instead, they disappeared. Completely, without explanation. Tesla's nephew, Sava Kosanovich, who rushed to his uncle's room immediately after his death, reported that someone had already been through Tesla's effects. A black notebook with several hundred pages, some marked government, was missing. Technical papers were gone. Evidence of someone being there before the government officially arrived. The FBI under J. Edgar Hoover received numerous letters asking about Tesla's papers. The Bureau repeatedly claimed that the Office of Alien Property had them, but when asked, the Office of Alien Property said they never had custody of any of Tesla's property. Two government agencies blaming each other, both denying responsibility, both claiming the papers existed somewhere, but neither claiming to have them. Some researchers have suggested that Tesla's papers were seized by Nazi intelligence before the war ended, that Hitler's agents managed to reach Tesla's hotel room before American officials did, and that these papers were lost in the chaos of the war's final days. Others believe that the papers were deliberately hidden, deliberately kept from public scrutiny, because what Tesla had discovered was too dangerous, too powerful, too revolutionary to allow to spread. Still, others have more extraordinary theories. They suggest that Tesla's papers didn't disappear. They were taken to a classified facility, they were studied, they were built upon, and the results of those experiments remain classified to this day. We may never know exactly what was in Tesla's missing papers, but based on his published writings, his patents, and his documented experiments, we can make educated guesses. Tesla was working on what he called his teleforce device. He described it as capable of projecting destructive energy across any distance. But could teleforce have been more than just a weapon? Could it have been a tool for manipulating reality itself? Tesla also conducted experiments on wireless power transmission. His Wardenclyffe Tower was designed to send power wirelessly across the Earth and beyond. But what if the tower had a secondary purpose? What if it was also designed to generate the specific electromagnetic frequencies needed to manipulate time? Tesla's Colorado Springs laboratory produced some of his most intriguing experimental results. He documented observations that he couldn't fully explain using contemporary physics. Signals that seemed to travel at impossible speeds. Electromagnetic phenomena that defied conventional understanding. In his papers, Tesla theorized about the nature of the universe itself. He believed that the universe was not made of matter and energy in the way physicists understood it. He believed it was fundamentally composed of motion, vibration, resonance. And if the entire universe was vibrating, then the question became, could you adjust the frequency of vibration enough to move through time? The papers that the government seized might have contained detailed theoretical frameworks for doing exactly that. Blueprints for devices, mathematical calculations, experimental protocols. Or perhaps the papers contained something even stranger. Perhaps they contained evidence that Tesla had succeeded, that he had built a working prototype, that he had actually seen the future, that he had visited the past. Throughout his life, Tesla made statements that seemed impossible, yet many of his impossible ideas turned out to be far ahead of their time. He proposed wireless power transmission when the very concept seemed absurd. Decades later, scientists confirmed he was theoretically correct. He suggested that energy could be collected from the atmosphere itself. Theories of harvesting zero-point energy, which some modern physicists now take seriously, echo Tesla's ideas. He talked about communicating with other planets via electromagnetic signals. He believed he had detected signals from Mars. This was decades before radio astronomy became a mainstream field. He predicted environmental catastrophe from human pollution and resource depletion. He called for alternative energy sources in the early 1900s. Ahead of his time doesn't even begin to describe it. So when Tesla claimed to have figured out time travel, should we dismiss it? Should we treat it as the ravings of a man past his prime? Or should we recognize that Tesla had an uncanny ability to perceive scientific truths that his contemporaries couldn't comprehend? The question becomes, if Tesla was right about so many other things, what are the odds that he was completely wrong about time travel? So, did Nikola Tesla travel through time? Based on available evidence, we can't say for certain. What we can say is that Tesla explored these ideas seriously, that he conducted experiments that produced unexplained results, that his papers were seized by the government and then mysteriously disappeared, that coincidences aligned in ways that are difficult to fully explain. The Philadelphia experiment remains unconfirmed. The missing papers might contain anything or nothing. Government secrecy could be protecting genuine secrets, or it could be protecting embarrassment. But the persistence of these stories, the consistency of eyewitness accounts, the documented disappearance of Tesla's work, the fact that such a brilliant mind dedicated himself to understanding time and space, these details suggest that there might be more to the story than official history admits. Whether or not Tesla succeeded in building a time machine, he certainly succeeded in something else, inspiring generations of researchers to ask bigger questions, to push the boundaries of what we think is possible. If you enjoyed this exploration into one of history's greatest mysteries, please like this video. Subscribe for more deep dives into science, history, and the unexplained. Do you think Tesla really discovered something about time? Do you believe the government is hiding Tesla's research? What would you do if you found his lost papers? Thank you for watching. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next one.